This is Tom Fox. I live in the Texas Hill Country. On Friday, July 4th, Kirk County saw the worst flooding it has ever seen. At this point, as I'm recording this podcast, nearly 70 people have been found dead, and there are many, many more people still missing. I'm going to ask you to please consider a donation to the Hill Country Flood Relief Fund. I've listed it in the show notes. I know it's a little bit unusual to make this request, but I can't tell you the tragedy that has unfolded in my home county over the 4th of July weekend. Thank you for your consideration. And now, on to the Daily Compliance News. We begin with two stories from the Financial Times around one issue. And those stories are the consulting company Boston Consulting Group had a multi-million-dollar project to model the cost of, quote, relocating Palestinians, end quote, from Gaza and moving them to some unknown location. This project was done specifically by BCG. It's not clear how or why the company signed off on doing this. And BCG also built a financial model for the post-war construction of Gaza. BCG said senior executives of the company were repeatedly misled on the scope of the project by the partners running the project. And the lead partner was categorically told not to do this work, and he violated this directive, and he was later terminated by BCG for its actions. BCG has hired a investigative or external law firm to investigate the failures of internal controls or whatever else it might have been that allowed BCG to take part in this incredibly odious project, and this is going to stain BCG for a long, long time. Our second story is that somehow the Tony Blair Institute, former UK Prime Minister Tony Blair, participated in the project, and that envisioned an enclave with a Trump Riviera and an Elon Musk smart manufacturing zone. The plan was seen in the slide deck, which was seen by the FT and was led by Israeli businessmen. And so what this does to the legacy of Tony Blair, we can only speculate at this point. But for the compliance professional, these are horrible examples of complete misjudgment, violation of probably everything Tony Blair and or BCG stood for at one point. So we'll see how the fallout continues. Next up, the the SEC and SolarWinds have reached a preliminary deal to end their lawsuit. The SEC's lawsuit against SolarWinds. The SEC had sued SolarWinds over allegedly lying about the breach that occurred several years ago, claiming that this was an internal control failure under Sarbanes-Oxley, and now this case has been settled. No word on the terms of the settlement, but you have to believe that the SEC just said, no, we're not going to move forward on this. And finally, remember the BRICS? Brazil, Russia, India, and China. Well, they are back, and they are back in an interesting way as Iran wants to join the BRICS. So you better look very closely when you do business with BRICS to make sure you're not doing business with Iran. As I said at the start of this podcast, we had perhaps the worst tragedy to ever hit my home county in its history over this weekend, and myself and my family are fine, but multiple others who lost loved ones, lost family members, are obviously not fine. So if you can find your way to help with any donation, I would greatly appreciate it. This is Tom Fox. Thank you very much. The Daily Compliance News is a production of the Compliance Podcast Network and a proud member of C-Suite Radio. Thanks so much for listening. I hope you'll join me again tomorrow.